and you can use our loose gemstones and diamonds to add to your piece. We'll make it just for you at Bell Jewelers. Come on over to Bell Jewelers, 821 Northwest Broad Street, across from Toots.
Spend your middays with us, Rick and Bubba.
The Rick and Bubba Show, weekdays, 11 until 2 on News Radio WGNS.
Rick and Bubba.
We're the Good Neighbor Network, FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, audio and video streaming at wgnsradio.com. This is the Roundtable. A look at the news, views, politics, and people that are shaping Rutherford County.
Welcome into the Roundtable. I'm Andy Herzer, founder and executive director of First Shot. I welcome in a young man I'm getting to know quite well, and Kerry Hammonds Jr., head coach at PCA. Kerry, let's kind of dive back in. You grew up here in Murfreesboro. Mm-hmm. Your dad was kind of famous too, playing basketball at Middle Tennessee State. Talk about growing up as your dad was one of those guys that everybody knew.
First, thanks for having me on, Andy. It's a pleasure. Actually, my first time in this building, which is crazy. I'm happy to be here. But growing up, all I ever heard was how good my dad was. As a really young kid, I remember days in sports comm, days at Holloway High School. My dad was still playing pickup, and I got to see a little bit of him. But growing up, always, I mean, for the grocery store, for the gas station, we run into somebody who's saying how good my dad was. And so that kind of stuck in me, like, I don't want to go there. I don't want to go to MTSU. I don't want to follow in my dad's footsteps. Like, I'm going to go make a name somewhere else. And it's crazy how God works. Because Kermit Davis, he was the first person to offer me in the 8th grade. He said he wanted me to come play in middle, and even at that point, I was like, I don't think I want to. I love coach, but I was like, I want to go make a name for myself. And as high school and my career kind of progressed, had some injuries, and a lot of other schools kind of fell back and stopped recruiting me. And through that whole time, Kermit and MTSU, his staff did a great job of making sure I felt valued and wanted, and it was the right place for me. The right time. I have no regrets on going. I had an amazing 4 years as a player, 2 as a GA, 2 as director of ops, and MTSU has been really, really good to me.
Talk about your playing time. What did you get for playing for Coach Kermit Davis?
I learned how to play defense. I remember one of my first practices. We were doing some drill, defensive drill, and I'm coming from high school where I'm just using my athleticism to block shots and get steals. And he told me really quickly, he said, Kerry, this isn't Siegel High School anymore. And if you want to play, you're going to have to learn how to play defense. And so being able to think the game, watch film, figure out where I'm supposed to be, study scouts. Coach was really, really detail driven. I think that's a quality I've kind of stolen from him, is how much of a stickler he was in details in everything, from how you walk on the floor to your timeliness, and how you do everything. And so that is one of the biggest things that I got for playing for Coach Davis, is just the accountability piece of being just so in tune to the details.
So when you go and I always say that it's a really tough shift from going player, because you still want to kind of play when you're just out, right? You still have that yearning to go compete. Talk about the shift for you from GA to ops, from playing.
It was an adjustment. Not being on the floor, not being able to really dictate games with your ability. But it was kind of one of those things where I didn't continue playing because of an injury. And so the yearning and the itch wasn't really there as it is in a lot of other people, because I knew I couldn't. And so I always knew I wanted to coach. And so I just kind of got into coaching earlier than expected. And so I tried to be a sponge. I tried to learn from every assistant. I tried to learn from coach as much as I could. And I think it helped me being a GA first, being the bottom of the totem pole, having to be around managers, do things that managers did, but also be around the coaches, be around ops, be around training staff, just be around everybody to see the inner workings of what Division I basketball looks like. And then transitioning to ops, and then to being a high school coach. I feel like I've been kind of every role or seen or been around every role to allow me to kind of take bits and pieces to kind of build my own program now.
So talk about the attention, because I got to see you last week, so I wanted to come out because I knew you were coming on, do film. Who was the best at breaking down film that taught you the attention to the little stuff that I saw you teaching the guys at PCA?
Definitely Kermit Davis. I remember film sessions after games, and he's talking about screening angles. Your foot is probably a foot off where it should be. Having a late contest versus a good contest, being over a couple of steps so you're at the midline to be able to take a charge. Just those minute details that you really don't think about it when you're a player for the most part. The really good ones do, and they learn to pay attention to those things. But he got me to really, really look at those things on film, in practice, because they matter. And if you pay attention to those things, it leads to winning. And so I remember tons of film sessions after games where me and my teammates were dreading going in there because we're going to watch the whole game. And you know when you messed up. And so you're just anticipating coach getting on you, rewinding the film 5 or 6 times, saying the same thing. But it made you a better player. When you did those things, it usually puts you in the best situation to be successful, led to winning. And so that's where my attention to detail came from.
So when you look back, going to the ops, from grad assistant to ops, what changed? What responsibilities changed?
Well, grad assistant, I could be on the floor. I was able to work out guys, live in the gym. I love that piece of it. And then switching to ops, like it was more administrative. I was more behind the scenes. I couldn't be on the floor. And so that's when the itch and the yearning to be kind of a part of it, that is really when it hit me. I was in charge of gear and hotel rooms and buses. And so all the logistics behind the scenes I had my hand on, which was cool to be a part of, because shifting to a high school coach, you have to do all those things anyway and coach. And so it kind of prepared me to be able to do those things and know what I was doing and kind of have a system on how to do those things. But it was hard not being on the floor. Got to still be in coaching staff meetings and film room, but it was different. It was a bit different than being able to have a ball in your hand, pass the guys that are shooting, or coach on the floor. And so, but I'm thankful. I'm thankful for my time that I had as ops.
So it always amazed me when you start to shift gears. When did you know that college wasn't going to be your thing?
Probably when I was ops. My first year ops under Coach Davis. I spent 2. I had one under Coach and then one under Nick, the current staff. It was probably when I started being serious with my now wife.
You can say your wife's name.
Mandy.
The beautiful Miss Mandy.
My better half, for sure. She puts up with a lot. She holds down the fort, especially this time of year when I'm at practice till 7 o'clock. But I knew I wanted to build a family. I knew I wanted to be married. I knew that was going to be really tough as a college coach, being on the road, recruiting, road trips. And so I knew I wanted to coach. I wanted to impact young people's lives. And this opportunity presented itself at PCA. It was perfect timing. God's timing is always perfect. And so I met with our AD, Coach James, and a couple days later offered the job, and it's the best job I ever had.
So let's talk about you go in after Coach David Farrar, they're still just trying to build and piece together a program. So you're really at the beginning steps of building this program. What are some of the things that you put in place early on to help build this? Because you didn't have a whole lot of players back then. So talk about it.
Pass and catch. That's one of
simple things. People think that's not, but I'm in a program now. I see 5-year-olds to 14-year-olds, right?
Yep.
Passing and catching's huge.
Huge deal. That's probably the first thing, the biggest thing that we talked about was pass and catch. And going in is something I even talked to our current team. We want to develop better fathers, better husbands. Basketball isn't the destination. It's just a part of the journey. We're lucky enough we get to play a game to instill life values of accountability, teamwork, discipline. But like while we're here, we're going to do it to the best of our ability. We're going to prepare at a really high level. We're going to coach you hard. We're going to love you harder. And I think, especially those first couple of teams, it shifted from guys playing basketball to be around their buddies to guys playing basketball because they really loved it. They enjoyed each other. They enjoyed the staff, and they love to compete. And so it was fun to see the growth from year 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, and kind of see the fruits of those guys' labor, the time that they put in, the faith that they had in the coaching staff and each other, to see it really pay off. We talk about culture all the time. My first 2-3 years, we had a core group of probably 4 or 5 seniors that went those 3 years with me, and they set the tone. They set the culture for what it is now. Just the grinding mentality, the toughness, the love for each other, the game. And so it was fun. It was fun to see it grow into more success, more love, more passion. And then to see people want to watch us play. When we first started, me and my assistant, KJ, who was with me that first year, we talk about all the time. They would leave after the girls' game when the boys' game was starting. And we talked about that. We were honest about that with our team and our players. Like, hey, you're putting in the work, you're laying the foundation so that people are going to stay. People are going to stay to watch you guys play. And it's been fun to watch that shift to where people enjoy watching PCA basketball.
So, again, you talk about all these things. What's the benefit of going through PCA and PCA basketball? What are they going to get out of it?
They're going to get uncontrollable love, and that's from staff, players, teachers, admin. When I first started at PCA, I couldn't believe it. I'm a product of public school, and so it's just different. I'm not saying anything bad about public schools. It's just different world that I was used to coming into PCA. I remember my first practice. I come in as a 28-year-old. I'm trying to set the tone. I'm going crazy. Like, it was a tough practice. I'm trying to push these guys, let them know I'm not their friend. I'm a young guy, so I'm coming in there trying to set the tone early. And I remember after that practice, a line of 5 or 6 guys coming up to me and shaking my hand and saying, "Thank you, coach. Thank you, coach. Thank you, coach." And I was like, wow, like, this is different. And that's just how it is, that type of thing all the time. We're lucky enough we get to talk about God. We get to talk about how Christ has laid our path. He's gone before us. We get to spend time in devotion with each other. We get to pray for each other, for our school, for our team. And then we get, like, I have an admin that's behind us. And so we get to do things at a high level. They've really trusted us and gave us the resources to do what we think we need to do to prepare our young men to be better fathers, be better husbands, put the best product on the floor basketball-wise. And so I think that's what sets us apart.
So you got some other guys now that have been with you a long time. Let's talk about Trice and Baylor and help me,
Davis, Preston.
Yeah. Aiden.
Yep.
You've had a core group that's come up through junior high together. They're still your core group of guys. Talk about them and what sacrifices they've made for the program.
So, I mean, those guys, I remember when I got the job, those guys were in 8th grade. Those guys were in 8th grade. Aiden was a 7th grader. And I was really excited about the future when I took this job. And then throughout this process, I mean, coming in as freshmen, not playing as much, and the growth that they've had, sophomore to junior to this year, I'm expecting huge things out of all of them, but they've all developed as young men. Seeing them grow in the maturity level, their toughness, their preparation, how they approach the game, how they approach school. It's been fun to watch that maturity throughout the year, and just being selfless. All of them just being selfless, doing whatever the team needs when the team needs it. And those roles shift and change year to year, but they've embraced it. They've been fun to coach. They come to practice every day ready to get better, ready to be pushed, ready to be coached. And so we're going to miss those guys for sure. Those 4 seniors have taken the culture that was set and really taken it to the next level. And so it's bittersweet. It's fun to see them as seniors. It'll be great to check in with them and watch them and their journeys after us. But we're gonna miss them.
So you know, I'm always amazed because I'm not there all the time, right, watching. But 6 months ago, to see that their body types have changed so much in the last 6 months. Talk about Jordan Williams, that commitment, how they've really grown.
The last 2 years have been unbelievable in the strength and conditioning department. Coach James and our administration, they really said this is something we need and we need to improve. And so we brought in 2 really, really good guys in Jordan Williams and Matt Huey, and they have totally changed the landscape of our athletics. Their commitment to the weight room, each student athlete, they're pushed at an unbelievable level when they go in there. I've gone in a few times, and like, they're tough. They're tough days. They push them, but the kids love going in there, and I think that's what separates a lot of strength coaches is, do the kids want to come in there and work? And they have set a culture in the weight room of, yes, we're going to work hard, but we're going to care about every one of you. They've done a great job of building relationships with the student athletes in the building. And to see like you said, the growth in the bodies and how, like, guys like Preston has put on 20 pounds since the end of the season last year. You can just see your body changing. And so that translates to the court of confidence and being more physical and faster, quick twitch. So really, really happy about what we have going in the weight room right now. So,
and people just don't realize the commitment that they have to have at PCA to be on the basketball team. I think, you know, that core group that I started off with in 2nd, 3rd grade, you only have 4 of them left. And so it's amazing. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with Kerry Hammonds Jr.
Parents, you can help your child sharpen their...
The city of Murfreesboro is growing, and we need your help to prove it by participating in the special census. Murfreesboro Mayor Shane McFarland.
We want to get an accurate count of our residents compared to the last census. The more people that are counted, the more state shared revenue dollars Murfreesboro receives.
It's fast and easy. Complete the form online at murfreesborocensus.com.
Count me in.
Okay, count me in.
And count me in too.
Let's make sure every resident counts. Visit murfreesborocensus.com.
Parents, you can help your child sharpen their basketball skills while also encouraging positive spiritual change with First Shot Basketball Skills Academy and Winter League. Sign-ups are happening now. Led by Coach Andy Herzer, this teaching league is designed to build strong foundations not just for athletics, but for life. If your child is between 5 and 14 years old, they can participate at Hooptown this winter. Don't wait. Spots are filling up fast. For more information and to sign up, visit firstshottn.org. That's firstshottn.org.
When you have fire, water, or storm damage, Farrah Construction can help. Farrah Construction is also there to help when a car slams through the wall. Call Farrah Construction and we'll board up, put down tarps, secure your home or business until the insurance coverage is approved. Call Farrah Construction at 615-893-6120. I'm Ron Hall. Shop local. Let our family business help you. Farrah Construction Company.
I am Charlotte Gardner. I've lived at Adams Place for 3 years. After my husband died, I didn't want to cook for one anymore. Everything just got too tedious.
How long did you look around?
I did not look around. I did not even consider any place else.
Hi, this is Terry Deal at Adams Place. Call me for more information about Adams Place. Phone 615-904-9111.
Adams Place on Memorial across from Walmart.
This is Good Neighbor Events with Bart Walker. Brought to you by the law offices of John Day and AmeriCare Pest Control.
I've got pests.
AmeriCare is Rutherford County's #1 choice in pest control, and it's simple to see why. After calling 893-7111, their staff came to my house 8 years ago when I had an insect problem. They looked at the situation, showed me the areas and what they'd recommend to resolve the problem. After treatment and with quarterly checks, I'm bug, critter, and creepy crawly free. Thanks, AmeriCare.
Call the best of the best to get rid of your pest.
AmeriCare, 893-7111.
WGNS encourages you to shop local. If you live in the city limits of Murfreesboro, the city will pick up your falling leaves. All you do is rake them up and put them in a pile there at the street. That's strictly in the city of Murfreesboro, and it continues through January 31st. The Alzheimer's and Dementia Support Group meets on the second Tuesday afternoon of each month at the Villages of Murfreesboro. Coffee and conversation about local history. That's every Saturday from 9 in the morning until noon over at the one-room Ransom Schoolhouse. That's at 717 North Academy Street. Handel's Messiah is this Sunday at 3 o'clock at MTSU's Wright Music Building. 3 o'clock Sunday. Tickets are $25 each and available at the door or in advance at the Tucker Theater box office. Don't throw away Old Glory. Bring your tattered American flag to WGNS and let the girls from BSA Troop 2019 at Trinity United Methodist Church retire it with dignity. Plus, we also recycle Bibles. Those are WGNS Good Neighbor events.
Rutherford weather.
Skies become sunny here this afternoon, a high around 70 degrees. Tonight, mostly clear, a low near 44. By Tuesday, sunshine, a high of 65 degrees. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki on News Radio WGNS.
Currently, it's 61.
WGNS is powered by Middle Tennessee Electric. As a member of MTE, you have access to educational resources to help you tailor energy use to your lifestyle. Interested in electric vehicles? MTE offers incentives to learn about EVs and connect with others who share your interest.
This is the Roundtable from News Radio WGNS on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna. Listen and watch at wgnsradio.com.
Welcome back into WGNS and the Roundtable. I'm Andy Herzer, Executive Director and founder of First Shot. I'm going to do my shameless plug, Mr. Kerry. We have our Christmas drive for our children going on right now. You can go to firstshottn.org. You can click on there. You can sponsor one kid. We're trying to get 100 kids sponsored at $100 a piece. Again, that's firstshottn.org. Kerry, we were talking about culture. You named a few things. I think the unique part for me and you, because we meet now once a week, get into God's Word, is the God piece of it and how free you are to discuss it. So talk about how you use teaching God's Word in with basketball.
I think, first off, I have had the opportunity to really grow in my faith since working at PCA. We're a classical school, biblical worldview, and so everything that we do is with the lens of the Bible. And so that was also an adjustment for me coming from public school where none of that is really happening. And so to be able to talk to my team about it, to be able to talk to faculty members about it, that was a shift. That was a change. But also that first core group had been at PCA since they were in pre-K. And so they were teaching me stuff. And I had to be humble enough to learn from some of my juniors and seniors, but I think that is something that kind of strengthened our bond. But to answer your question, Andy, I mean, the Bible's been around forever, and so there's so many lessons, so many stories that we can apply to basketball. Giving your all in whatever you're doing for the good of the Lord. In adversity, you know that all things working for the good of the Lord's kingdom. Like all of those things, we're able to apply. And like our first kind of time as a team, we had a team lock-in, and during that lock-in, we play some games, we play kickball, and we do some fun things. But we set aside an hour and a half where the team comes up with their goals, their standards, their expectations of what they want the year to be. I kind of facilitate and guide it, but they come up with everything. Whether that's we want our words to be toughness, resilient, excellent, whatever that is, they come with all of it. They talk about how they're going to make sure that if a teammate is not living up to a standard, how do they approach that? How do they hold them accountable in a loving way? And then we're able to pick our verse for the year. And each team is different. Each player led group has a different idea of what they want the season to look like. And I think us being able to blow up this big piece of paper that says, hey, this is what you guys said you want our team to look like. You said that you wanted to win in everything that you're doing, be excellent in everything that you're doing to glorify God's kingdom. Are you doing that? Did you give your all today in practice? Did you give your all in the classroom? Are you really living up to what you said you wanted to live up to? And so it gives us opportunities to point back to and hold guys accountable, and that's what makes it fun.
So last year, you make a heck of a run. Talk about that championship game a little bit, maybe how it has stuck with these guys and how they want to change that.
It was a really fun year. I think we lost our first 2 games to CPA and Brentwood Academy, and I think we ended up winning 29 of our next 30 or something like that. It was a fun group. It was a group that loved being in the gym. They loved each other. They didn't care who had the credit. They were fun. They were fun to watch. I mean, we turn on film and you see the bench going crazy and you see guys high-fiving and pointing at each other, and that's what it's about. They played with a toughness and a competitiveness, but they also had joy. Joy for their teammates, joy to being able to play. And that kind of just oozed throughout the program, and it made it fun to come to practice every day. We were able to reach an incredible level of success, especially from the year before to that year. It was a testament to the work that those guys did in the off season, and then just how we gelled. And so to get to the last game that you can play on the last day of the season, to be in the last 2 standing, was fun. It was an experience, and I think with I think six returners, varsity guys from that team. It just makes them have a chip on their shoulder, bad taste in their mouth that, hey, like, we have unfinished business. But we also got to try to remind them, like, you can't look to March. You got to get to that point, you got to be good. You got to be lucky. You got to be healthy. There's a lot of things that have to go your way. And so all that we can control is the day that's in front of us, the practice that's in front of us, the rep that's in front of us. And so that's our language. We'll let the results be the results, but we got to focus on how can we be better today as an individual, but also as a team, as a coaching staff. How do we win today? I think that's what we did a really good job of last year. Is just focusing on the now, being where our feet are, being present. But I mean, definitely think about it for sure. Those guys are hungry, and I think it showed in their off-season work. I think it's shown in their practices that we've had over this last week. They want to be better. They know it's going to be tough. We're not sneaking up on anybody. And so they know that their best is required every night.
So when you look at that, 15, 16, 17-year-old boys, 18-year-old boy, I always thought that was pretty tough in college. How do you know, to get someone to stay and seize the day, the minute by minute in it, you got a really kind of special group of young men. Who is going to be your vocal leader, you think, out of this group coming? Because last year it was a little different. Who do you see taking those reins and being the guy?
The guys that we got in this program, I think it's going to be a collective. I think Baylor Allen is going to be really. He's been vocal over the past week and all season. I think Trice Grinson. I think Peyton Applegate. I think Aiden. I think Aiden Bowler. I think those will be our most vocal. But I mean, Preston Wade is going to lead by example every day. It's going to be really hard for anybody to match his energy and his intensity every day. Davis Joyner will lead by example every day. And we got some young guys. We got some young guys that are hungry as well, that will push our older guys. And we also have new guys in the program that will push and are starting to learn their way of how we do things, the way we do things, the level at which we want to conduct ourselves on and off the court. And so I've always told my guys, we'll be good when we're player-led. The best teams are player-led. We spent a couple hours with you guys on the floor. I might get in front of you and talk to you guys as a team a little bit, but you guys are with each other way more than you're with me. And when you guys start holding each other accountable, when you guys start saying, hey, that's not how we do things here, that's when you have special teams.
So looking at it, let's talk about Preston a little bit. A very, you know, if people have not, you guys got to get out and watch PCA. They have some unbelievable, talented young men. Preston, by far right now, to me, is you walk in a gym, your eyes go to Preston. Talk about him a little bit, his unique abilities that he has, because he's different, Kerry. He's not your typical 6'10" kid walking around a high school when I was in high school.
The biggest thing that I love about Preston is his joy and his smile. You go into the gym before practice, and he's probably heaving up half-court shots and hook shots from the other baseline, and he's probably making a few, which is crazy. He's always hitting those type of shots, but he just loves being in the gym. He loves to compete, loves being in the gym. But like you said, a guy that's 6'10", 6'11", can make a three, can defend 1 through 5, can run like a deer, block shots, rebounds at a high level. Like he's a unicorn. Like, and so our guys, when we do one-on-one drills, like having to score against Preston, like you're not going to play anybody like Preston. And so it just it's iron sharpening iron. It gets our guys better. But they love Preston. He's an amazing teammate. And to see his growth, like as a freshman, couldn't really impact a JV game. And then he's all district, all region, all state these next 3 years. I guess 2 years leading up into his senior year. It's been fun to watch his growth and his maturity. I'm excited to see what he does this year.
You know, we're going to take a couple more. Aiden. Talk to us about him. And for me, I won't be honest. He frustrated me early on in his career because he has so much that I still think's untapped, Kerry. Talk about Aiden.
So, Aiden, he's a freak of nature. Another one, to be his size, to move the way he does, to be able to jump the way he does, it's unreal. And I think that's why he was such a force on the football field this past season. But he started playing varsity-wise as an 8th grader. And he impacted games as an 8th grader, which was unreal. That doesn't happen too often. And I think he was just one of those things. He was young, coming in freshman year, just a young guy, being the youngest out there. Some of that immaturity at time, but you always saw flashes. And even last year, he started to do it for longer periods of time.
And he was just a sophomore.
Yes.
that's what you again, when you're sitting over there on the sideline watching this kid, he doesn't look like a sophomore.
No.
He doesn't look like a junior. All right? He looks like a grown
man.
A grown man. And so it's very difficult you have to, in your mind, flip that switch a little bit with him.
Yep. I had to remind myself a lot. He was a 16-year-old last year. But like I said, he made great strides in his preparation each day, being present and playing at a high level. I think it was good for him to go against Preston every day, to go against Peyton every day. It just made those guys better. And I think that's why you saw the jump in Aiden from his freshman year to his sophomore year in terms of production, just because he was doing it more consistently in practice. And that leads to being more consistent in games.
Let's talk about Trice's growth. Grinsing. He's, to me, I had these guys when they were young, Brad Allen and I. And Trice's maturity last year, to me, was unbelievable. He took a huge jump in his just maturity and approach on the floor, getting banged around, right? Talk about Trice a little bit.
Trice is he is your prototypical coach's kid. He's so cerebral. He does all the little things. He knows every position and where everybody's supposed to be. And he does a good job of helping along new or young guys know where they're supposed to be and how things are supposed to be run. But he's really selfless. Like he sometimes we got to get on to him about shooting the ball when he's open, just because he's so selfless. He's not thinking about himself. He's going to rebound the ball. He's going to be the first on the floor. He's going to get most of the 50-50 balls that he's involved in. And so he took a different role last year on our team, and he embraced it. He did all of those things really, really well. And he's one of those kids where if the coaching staff or the team needs him to do this, he's going to do it. He's going to do it to the best that he can. All he cares about is winning at the end of the day.
Well, last but not least, of the core group of guys that I've been around the longest is Davis, Joyner, and Baylor Allen. Let's talk about those two seniors.
First, they're always together. Those two, they're always together. Sometimes they can get a little chippy on the court just because they spend so much time together, but it's all good competition. That they love each other. I'll start with Davis. He has so many gifts and intangibles that we're going to be dependent on this year. Getting his physicality into the game, paint touches, and getting to the free throw line. going down the stretch, he was probably our best, maybe second best 3-point shooter on our team going down the stretch, and so we're gonna lean on him to be doing those things. My challenges for Davis all the time.
I just like how his shot has changed. You guys have done a remarkable job with him, and just the growth in his shot alone, and the changes, because it's painful to make changes in habits, but he's done it.
He has done it, and I can't take any credit. I mean, that's all him and the work that he's put in, the repetition in the gym. He shows up every day. Every time that we have something, we open the gym. Davis is there. Baylor is there. Those guys are gym rats, and it's really paid off. And then Baylor, sometimes you got to tell him not to come to the gym. Like,
take a day off.
Take a day off. They go on vacation to Florida. He's in the gym there. Wherever they are, he's always going to find a gym. And so looking forward to his growth. What he's really done, he's changed his body over the last 6 months. And it's been unreal. He's started to become one of our best full court defenders, getting his quickness and physicality into the game, shoots the ball at a really high level, starting to be a better playmaker as well when people are taking away that catch and shoot 3-pointer. So both of those guys, we're gonna miss. Like I said, we're gonna miss them, but looking forward to a really fun year.
All right, Kerry, we're gonna take one more break and be right back.
Let's go! ABC Wednesday, country music's biggest night, the CMA Awards.
Let's party, Nashville!
Kicks off with this year's must-see collaboration, Post Malone featuring Chris Stapleton live. With electrifying performances by Lainey Wilson, Shabuzi, Ashley McBride, Luke Bryan, plus Thomas Rhett and Teddy Swims. Woo! Luke Bryan, Peyton Manning, and Lainey Wilson host the CMA Awards live Wednesday, 8/7 Central on ABC and stream next day on Hulu.
William is one of millions of Americans who uses GoodRx to save on the cost of their prescriptions.
My oldest daughter, Camilla, 2 days old, she had to have open heart surgery. All of a sudden, she's on 5 different medications. It adds up at the end of the month. Me and the pharmacist got so tight. She said, GoodRx save you a lot of money. Saving that extra $200-300 a month. We're able to do all these extra activities, so it puts less stress on our household, and it puts less stress on our pockets.
Download the free app or visit GoodRx.com and start saving today. GoodRx user compensated for their time. GoodRx is not insurance, but can be used instead of insurance.
Choosing the right insurance can be overwhelming. That's where Recall at Rayburn Insurance comes in. At Rayburn, we're not just about policies, we're about people. Recall will take the time to understand your needs and find the best coverage at the best price. We've been serving our community since 1973. So why not let Recall take the stress out of insurance? Recall at Rayburn Insurance Agency, where you're more than just a policy number. You're our neighbors.
At Bud's Tire Pros, we sell all major brands of tires, and we invite you to stop by today for that next set of tires. Or maybe you need us to check out your vehicle before you head out of town. We offer everything from brakes to batteries, alignments, and more. No appointments necessary, just stop on by.
I'm Allison Mitchell with Bud's Tire Pros. We're located on East Main Street, exactly 3 miles from the town square, 1 mile past Rutherford Boulevard. Visit us online at budstireprostn.com.
Fellas, if you've noticed a lack of energy, motivation, and drive, it could be low testosterone. Don't wait. Get checked by the experts at Low T Center. They have over a decade of experience helping patients achieve life-changing results with testosterone therapy, or TRT. And for established patients, they offer the convenience of physician-monitored at-home TRT with advanced personalized plans that include both lab testing and self-inject medication. Low T Center makes it easy, shipping directly to your door. Go to lowtcenter.com now to book your appointment online. Low T Center, reinventing men's health care.
You don't have hot dogs or apple pie or no Chevrolet to drive, but we have some hickory smoked wings you're just dying to try. You'll try them, you'll like them, you'll give some to a friend. So on a dare, just stop on by and bring in a friend. Slick Pig Barbecue, 1920 East Main.
This is the Roundtable from News Radio WGNS on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna. Listen and watch at wgnsradio.com.
Welcome into the Roundtable. I'm Andy Herger, founder and executive director of First Shot. I welcome back in, I call him young Kerry because I knew senior. Kerry, let's talk about a couple of you got some really talented new kids. Let's go in order of junior, senior, down to your two freshmen that I think are gonna be unbelievably good. They're just so young and so talented. So
we got two juniors that came in. One name is Nikolai Anderson. The other one is Chris Washington Jr. Nick was at South Haven. I think that's in Spring Hill. This past year, he came over. He's family friends with some of our players, and he's fit right in. He has a hot motor, a knack for getting to the basket and being able to finish. Has started to develop a little bit better three-point shot. And he's 6'6", athletic, runs the floor well. He's just one of those guys that kind of has a knack for scoring, but doesn't always have to have the ball in his hands. He's a really good offensive rebounder. He cuts well. He runs the floor, and so the ball finds him. And he does a good job of finishing when he gets those opportunities. And then Chris came in from Florida. Really, really high talent, high potential player. He's 6'9", 6'10", can handle it, can shoot it, jumps out the gym. It's been fun to get to coach him and talk about all the detail stuff that's in our program and getting him to kind of think the game at a different level than he's been used to. Both of those guys are going to be really, really big parts of our team and the success of our team this year. Going to need both of them to buy into their roles and playing hard and all of those things, which they've done really well over the past week. Both played well in our scrimmage that we had Friday. Then going down to our freshmen, TJ Duke and Mikey Holloway. Those guys push each other every single day. They come into the gym with a smile on their face every single day. As freshmen, it's unreal the way that they play. It seems like they've just seen so much basketball. I joke with our staff. It's just like their dads took them to SportsCom, dropped them off first thing in the morning and told them to figure it out. And they've played a lot of ball with older guys, and them being smaller, they figured out ways to be able to score, impact games, have a knack for finishing around the basket. And so with the number of guys that we have, our practices have the potential to be really, really beneficial. Guys being able to push each other every single day, us being able to switch up teams and matchups every single day. I think that's going to be one of the things that will make us good, is how tough and competitive our practices will be.
Well, again, to those listening, they have 3, if not 4, high major players playing at PCA this year, and then a couple of other Division I players. So talk about your schedule. Talk about how tough it is to get games now, probably, right? No one wants to play you, so you're going to have to go to get games.
We've actually got lucky this year. Our first 6 games, I believe, are at home, which is unreal. We open up with Hamilton Heights on the 19th. Then we played Knox Catholic, followed by Brentwood Academy, followed by Baylor. And then we start our district schedule. We'll also go to Tampa. We were fortunate enough to win the Tampa Christmas Invitational last year, so we're going back there to try to defend that. They always do a really good job with their tournament. Our guys look forward to it. We have a good time, and it's a good break between the start of district play and doing that tournament before the grind of finishing district play. But we have 5 really difficult non-conference games that will test us, test where we are, and that's why we do it. Since I've been here, our non-conference game, we try to schedule up. Try to schedule teams that we'll have to play well to have a chance. And I think that kind of prepares us for district play. When you're in high-level basketball games that are physical, that are close, you've been there before, and it has a certain amount of confidence when you're in those positions again.
Kerry, talk about your district. Let's name your district. So most of us probably don't know who's all in your district.
So we got BGA, Franklin Road Academy, Grace Christian, MTCS, Columbia Academy, Webb, us. I think that's it. I may have missed one. I hope I didn't miss one. But yep, really good district. Really good coaches and players in our district. You can't take any nights off. You have to be prepared mentally and ready to play. And so it's good. I mean, I think the top is wide open this year. I think Webb will be good. I think FRA will be good. They're returning a lot. Columbia Academy with Jeremy Jackson, they're going to be tough. BGA, they're going to be tough. So it'll be a grind, as it always is. But I think that's what makes it fun.
So when you look at that district, no nights off, and you play a tough schedule, you got all these kids returning. What are the expectations?
The expectation is to improve every day, every night. We schedule the way we schedule on the front end to prepare us for the back end. Now, of course, we want to win all the games, but we didn't win all the games in our non-conference last year, and I think we took progressive steps throughout the year. And so these games are to prepare us for district play, region play, hopefully state play. And so we've tried to do a good job of scheduling different types of teams that are going to play different styles so that we have to prepare differently. We have to have different scouts, have different lineups in the games, and so that we're not one-dimensional. We don't want to be one-dimensional. We can only play one way. We can only win one way. I think to be good, you got to figure out ways to win in different fashions. On the nights where you can't make a shot, the nights where things aren't going your way, the nights when there's foul trouble. And I hope that our schedule is going to allow us to kind of see who we are when we hit adversity. Not if, but when. Who's going to step up in those times? Who's comfortable down the stretch of games? Who contributes to winning? All of those things. And so that's my hope in our schedule, in our district schedule.
Well, Kerry, again, I just look at the culture that you've built, how PCA fits that piece. So what's next? You've built this culture. How do you keep it going at PCA? I think that's the difficult part.
We talk about our team. You fight for your culture daily. Even with this team, even with last year's team. Like every day that we come in, we have tons, hundreds, thousands of decisions that we are going to have to make. And those decisions determine our culture. So we just have to keep making those right decisions that are in line with our culture. And we're going to slip up. We're going to mess up as coaches, as players. It's going to happen. But talk to my guys all the time about as young men, we have to learn from our mistakes. Own it. Hold yourself accountable. Then move forward. Take the consequence if there is one. Then we move forward, and we're going to be better because of it. I think I put a lot of trust in our staff. I have a lot of trust in our seniors and our returning players. They know how big culture is. They know how much it means, how much it translates to us being successful. But we just have to, we have to keep fighting for it. Keep doing those same things all the time, showing that it is important. And hopefully it continues to be as good as it is right now.
Well, Kerry, I love the fact that Christ is right in the center of all this. With you as a young man, with your team, that you see beyond the basketball with them. That's why I wanted to have you on. Again, it's just one of those things, you guys. It's such a unbelievable place to see growth of young men. And Kerry, I wish you the very best in this season. Tell Coach James I need to have her on sometime soon. But thank you for being on the Roundtable.
Thanks for having me, Andy. I've enjoyed it.